Welcome to Chapter 4, Part 4. The file that you need to have open is your last name, first name orientation, and if you followed Part 3, this is what your image should look like. What we're going to learn how to do in this lesson is learn how to use the gap tool. So the first thing we need to do is select our gap tool in our toolbar, and it is going to be our fourth tool down, and you can use the hotkey of U, or just click on your gap tool in the toolbar. Now what we're going to do is position the gap tool over the middle vertical gap. And then we're going to click and drag so that our grid changes in size. So we're going to go to this middle gap, and then we're going to click and drag so that our left column is smaller and our right column of the gap gets larger. And then we're going to release. So now what we're going to do is we are going to position the gap tool in the bottom horizontal gap and then click and drag so that we make this section smaller. So our bottom horizontal, clicking and dragging to make this section smaller. So now your project should resemble something that looks similar to mine. Now what we're going to do is we're going to press and hold Control and then click and drag the left edge of our grid. The width of the 4 frames to the left will be increased. So the left is over here. We're going to hold down Control and then click and drag, and that's going to change the entire width on our left-hand side. Now what we're going to do is press and hold Alt and position our gap tool over the bottom horizontal gap. So pressing and holding Alt. When we position our gap tool here, as we click and drag down, it's going to grab the items above the gap and below the gap so that we can create some separation in between those two particular sections. And then what I need you to do is make sure that you have a gap in between your top 2 sets of blocks and your bottom 2 sets of blocks. And you are going to save your work and make sure that you've saved it as last name, first name orientation. And this will be the final project that you turn in for orientation. You will start a new project in Part 5.